friends, what is up? Happy day 2 of December daily. I am back with my day 2 spread, and I'm hoping that I'm double checking my audio. It should be much better today than it was yesterday. Sorry about that. I forgot to switch to my proper mic when I started recording, and it was a lot. If you couldn't tell, I'm out of practice. Also, a giant thank you to all of you for the super sweet comments that you guys left. I am still working on responding to them. After I'm done filming, I'm going to sit in bed with Joshua and respond to comments. But you guys are so kind and so gentle, and I'm just grateful for this community, and that like I took a little bit of a hiatus to work on myself and take care of some things, and that I came back and you guys came right back for me. So giant thank you. All right. So for day 2, okay, so if this is your first time here, you might not know about my approach to December Daily. I treat this project as a microcosm of my month. So I know that some people treat this like a holiday album. I don't. I do tell holiday stories because I'm living my best holiday life in December, but I don't treat my album like a holiday album. It is a December album, and there are normal days in December as well as holiday days, or holiday days that you do holiday related things. And so this morning I was up before I went to work, and I was playing with some fleece, and I was like, oh my God, that would be a perfect story to tell for today. Now, I shared yesterday that I've started knitting garments and spinning my own yarn, but the other thing that I've gotten really into is raw wool. And I can show you. I brought props, so hold on, I brought props. Okay, so when I say spinning my own yarn, these are yarns that I've made. These are yarns that I've made, and these come dyed by fiber dyers who are way more talented than I am, but they get commercially processed wool from a mill, and then they dye it, and then they send it to you, and then it comes in something like this. So this is like a prepared fiber braid, and then I put it on my wheel and I spin it into yarn that looks like this, and then I get to knit with it. And so this is, pretty far removed from going to the yarn shop and buying yarn. And I loved this. And so I was like, how much further back can I get from the supply chain, right? Like, how much further back can I get from buying dyed fiber and preparing it? And you know how far you can get? You can actually get raw fleece, which I did not know was a thing until I learned. So you can get, and again, feel free to skip through all the babbling if you're just here for the scrapbooking, but I kind of want to give you a little bit of an idea of why I'm telling this story. So you can, message some shepherds. There's Facebook groups devoted to shepherds who raise the sheep, shear the sheep, and sell the raw fleece. And then you get a box in the mail, and it's literally fluff that came right off the animal. It's not washed. It smells like sheep, and if you're not into the smell, then I'm sorry, because sheepy smells are the best. It smells like sheep. You get to wash it yourself, process it yourself, and then spin it. And Josh and I joke that in my next life, I should just be raising the sheep myself. But I am fully on board. When I tell you like fully on board, it has been so good for me. And so I was up this morning playing with some fleece, and I was like, dude, this is like a perfect story. So I took a few pictures. I put some, these are 2 different breeds. This is some Finn, black Finn, and then I have some brown Shetland. And they look very similar on I guess in camera, but one's brown, one's black, and they're 2 completely. Don't start me talking about wool, because we will literally be here for like Josh was probably sick of me. Every night we sit around and we talk about like my latest fiber prep, and I think he's ready to like claw his ears off. But whatever, 2 different wools. And when I took this picture with white space, because I knew I wanted to put my journaling directly on the photo, and I wanted to give myself some room. So I left myself some room, and then I took another picture of my hand cards, which are a fiber prep tool, and I think the picture's supposed to be like this. This is it right side up. I put like some Shetland on the same white piece, and then put my hand cards down, and those are my photos. And can you tell I'm loving 10 by 8 yet? Can you tell? The other thing I did, and I did record this, so somewhere here, maybe, I will insert some footage of me making this. This is just some distress watercolor paper that I did some ink smushing with using some distress inks. And unless you're brand new to my channel, you've seen me do this 100 times, because it's like my favorite way to add color and texture. And so I die cut it 3 times, and then I layered them to make my own chipboard, because I kind of wanted it to come off the page. Okay, future Tashi is here to interrupt the Tashi that won't stop talking, because I thought when I filmed the actual making that I gave myself some like downtime to actually interrupt and put in the footage of me making the two, and no, I didn't. I just kept talking. So this is probably a pretty harsh transition, but we're just gonna go with it. So the distress colors I have on my desk are some of my favorite shades of green. I have Evergreen Bough, Lucky Clover, Mowed Lawn, and Bundled Sage. And again, if you've been here for any number of times, you've probably seen me do this 100 times. Now, instead of pulling out my full-on glass mat, I just pulled out the silicone, the silicone sheet that goes on top of the glass mat, and then a craft mat for my desk. I didn't feel like pulling out the big glass behemoth because I didn't need it. And then I'm just bouncing some distress ink directly on the non-stick, that's what it is, the non-stick mat, spraying it with my distress sprayer and hitting it with my heat tool between layers. Now, I went darkest to light just to give myself some color gradation so all the colors aren't the same. And then I'm using some dyes from Altenew to spell out the number 2. Now, I did cut this 3 times, and you see I had to play a little bit of Tetris with that last time to make sure it fit. I popped it into my Gemini Junior, which lives on my desk, so I can die cut as many times as I want. And once I die cut it 3 times, see here, you see me playing some Tetris to make it work. Once I die cut it 3 times, I just use some wet glue to stack them up and layer them so that I got that chipboard look that I was hoping for. And that's literally all I did. It is the quickest and the easiest thing. All you need is some watercolor paper, some water reactive inks, a spray bottle, a little bit of patience, and a hand to make some mess and play. There is no real rhyme or reason to how this works. You do end up playing. So I hope you give it a try and you enjoy some playtime. Now, once I layered it, I just used some tweezers, stacked them up nice and tight, and then went back to putting my project together. And I've also picked out a few other things that we're going to audition. I'm either going to do... Lord. Okay, so the downside says 10 by 8 is fitting it on my desk because my desk is very small and I have my camera zoomed all the way in, so you don't, if I zoomed out, you would see the hurricane, and I don't think you guys are interested in the hurricane that is my desk. So I have 2 pieces. I have this Calm is Bright chipboard, and then I have this, and I think this was from last year, and it just says, above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. And I kind of think I'm gonna go with that. I was auditioning it because I didn't know if this would pop against that photo, but I actually think it looks pretty good. We'll decide. Part of the reason why I pulled out the text is because I thought the graphic nature of this piece would look, pretty cool against that, but I don't have to decide that just yet. So as far as the page design is, like, we're done. Like, that's the cool thing about hybrid, and you guys will hear me wax poetic about hybrid forever, ever. That's the cool thing about hybrid is you can design a whole page in Photoshop, print it out, and then you're like, well, scrapbooking done, right? The other thing I put on my desk is, so that Shetland that I showed you guys, here's a sample of some yarn that I spun of it. Also, my fingers are green. Here's a sample of the yarn, and I literally spun this sample this morning for this intention, because what I want to do is I want to attach a charm to my O, and I thought it would be really fun to use my hand spun yarn to attach the charm, since we're talking about hand spinning and fleece and all that stuff in this journaling. So I brought the fleece, I hand spun the tiniest sample. I just finished washing up this fleece. I had to wash this fleece 3 times. This fleece and I went on a journey, but I thought that would be really fun to like anchor whatever charm I use with the hand spun, and then have that be like the tying element to the whole page, and then also I get like that fun textured element of it. So I have my bits and pieces. If you took the December daily prep party that Crystal and I did last year, you might have seen these, but I keep, if I can get it open, that was really painful. I keep a lot of my bits and pieces in these plastic, that would hurt, in these plastic divided jars. This is all my Tim Holtz metal charms. These are all the ideology charms that Tim was super kind and sent me last year. And I keep them all organized like this. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of metal I just don't know which one I want. I like this one that says Always Believe because it ties in a lot with the story I was telling. So we're gonna quickly rifle through these. I probably should have picked one out already, but clearly I couldn't even open the container, so that's why I didn't pick one out. So I think I'm gonna go with Always Believe because the rest of these are super holiday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Always Believe. Sorry about that. So I wanted to do that, and then I thought about layering it over a piece from like my Alley Hoard. I kind of like these felt hearts, but they might be a little bit too large. Should I go with a star? That might be too large too. Okay, never mind. Oh, wait, there's a black one. That's actually the perfect size. Okay, so we're gonna go with the black felt star and that metal charm. And hopefully my crocodile cooperates and I can put a hole in this. But first I have to find my crocodile before it cooperates and I can put a hole. Okay, I am back and I'm armed with my crocodile. Oh, I had mentioned yesterday for day one, trying to figure out which side I want to use, that one of the tools I use the most is my power punch and my 6-hole punch. And Jessa, this is for you. I will respond to your comment, but this is also for you. The Power Punch is the one listed in my Amazon shopping cart. If you're interested in it, it is my favorite hole punch. So the crocodile will punch through anything, but it only has 1/8 and 3/16, and the Power Punch punches 1/4 inch holes. And if you want to put something in an album, a 1/4 inch hole is the way to go. So the crocodile is cool for punching, you know, holes in like small holes like this, but the holes that I punch do not turn well in my album, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Now, I'm just snipping off that little bit of extra, and we're gonna see if I can thread this. I honestly think the easiest way to do this would be to use some tweezers. We're gonna figure this out together. If I was smart, I would have figured this out in advance, but you know, we live life on the wild side over here, so let's see. I'm gonna put this through here. I just need this tweezer to open up. This is not working the way I thought it was going to. I don't know why I thought that would work. Like that was not one of my brightest moments. We will say. Okay. We will see how long it takes me to figure out how to get this thing in here, or we will edit this footage out if it takes me longer than 30 seconds. So anyways, while I fuss with the charm I picked says Always Believe, by the way. I'm not sure I said that out loud. While I fuss with this, I will tell you about my story. So I just did some journaling about my fleece problem, and it is indeed a problem. I literally have fleece tucked in random places everywhere. It's under the bed, it's on top of the closet, it's on my vanity. It's in, guys, I'll be back once I figure out how to do this, because I'm trying to like chit chat while I do this, and this is literally taking all of my mental faculties to figure out how to get this yarn through this tiny charm. So yeah, I'll be back when I get this done. It required actually very minimal meltdowns, and it just required a little bit of concentration. And actually, this is a tiny bit disgusting, but it also required a tiny bit of saliva to smooth out this edge so I could fit it through the metal charm. But also, it looks just as good as I thought it would. I'm really happy with that. So I'm just gonna like fiddle with it a little bit. You know, it's gonna be like a hanging charm, so it doesn't need to be perfect because it's going to hang freely in the album. And then I'm going to loosely tie it on with the hand spun. And once I put it on the page, I'll decide how much of this hand spun I want to leave hanging. Like I can't leave too much of it hanging that it interferes with reading the story, but I also want to leave a little bit so you get the character of it. So that, you guys, for this page, that's pretty much that. Am I going to go with wet glue or rolling adhesive? I think I'm going to go wet glue for this piece. And I'm not sure why. I honestly have no real rhyme or reason to when I use wet glue and when I use rolling adhesive. I honestly use rolling adhesive most of the time because I'm lazy, and wet glue sometimes requires too much work. But I do know that, especially this wet glue, which is the Gina K Connect glue, sometimes you get a better seal with this than with the Tombow rolling adhesive. Now you could use that silly little miracle tape that requires you to peel off the backing. But again, if you've been here for any number of time, you know that I hate that stuff because I can't figure out how to pull off the backing. The other reason I like wet glue is because you get like 2 seconds to move stuff around, and sometimes I need that 2 seconds. Like I put things down and then I instantly decide that that's not where I want to put it. And if I had used rolling adhesive, sometimes it picks up, sometimes it doesn't, and then sometimes it picks up but also takes like half of your project with it, and that's not ideal. All right, so that is pretty much that for this side. It looks perfect. And I am going to trim this, but I'm not going to take off a ton because I want to leave a little bit hanging. Oh, I like that so much. Now, if I had thought about it, and I didn't, but if I had thought about it, I would have left a little bit of space so I could put like a tiny phrase sticker underneath it. But also, I don't know if it needs it. Look at me being a minimalist and making design choices. Like, who am I? This is the girl who literally thinks more is more. But I kind of like how, I mean, I don't know if I would consider this page simple by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't want to like interfere with the two. Also, look at how cool that distress ink looks on that. That's really fun. I'm really happy with that. So that's one side. And I've been babbling for over 10 minutes, and literally the only design choice I've made is whether I was going to use a star or a tiny heart. Again, hybrid scrapbooking makes things really, really easy. And then for this side, I'm still waffling about the calm is bright or the ice. Okay, I'm back to the circle. I think I'm going to go with the circle. As much as I like the text, I like the sentiment of the circle. I'm trying to figure out how to fit both of these pages. Oh, taking a picture of this is going to be a nightmare. I'm trying to figure out how to fit both of these pages in the screen so you can see what they'd look like side by side. So I think I'm going to go with this for 2 reasons. I like the green and the gray and how the green repeat. There's also the gold here, which ties together with the gold and the star. And I also just really like the sentiment. As far as adhering it, I think I'm going to go with my favorite method for adhering transparent pieces, which is a staple. I just think using the tiny attacher does not like interfere with the fact that it's transparent. And so it's my favorite way of adhering things. I have a ruler out because since there's text on this page, I really want this thing to go down straight. So I'm using my T-square just to, oh, is that barely gonna make it? We might be in trouble. I'm using my T-square just to make sure. Okay, so there goes my staple idea because I wanted this to be dead center and the tiny attacher just doesn't reach. But I wanted this to be dead center and I'm going to keep fiddling with it to make sure that it's straight. Will it reach this side? It doesn't reach. Okay, so now I need a new plan for attaching this. I really don't want to use rolling adhesive because you kind of can see through it, but that might be the only option I have because the staple's not working. So I guess we're gonna do it. I also have vellum tape, which is supposed to be like see-through so you don't see. Okay, that's actually not as visible as I thought it was. I'm gonna keep it right behind the text though, because if it does become visible, at least it's visible through the text and not through the wreaths. Now we're gonna stick this down. We're gonna hope it's straight. We're gonna move very quickly. Oh, it's straight. Okay, perfect. So that's day 2, you guys. Like, not every day, and I feel like I'm preaching to myself and not necessarily to you, but not every day needs to be like a super involved affair. I did get to do a little bit of crafting making this too, but the story was really important to tell, and I got these really large photos in the album. Man, 10 by 8 is the dream size. I'm giant props to Allie for coming up with this because it's literally living my best life with this size. All right, so that's literally the process. Super simple. I'm going to quickly read my journaling to you. So it says, to the fin, right here, to the fin in the closet and the CVM under the bed and all the fleeces I've loved before. You have quickly become my dirty little secret, but only because if Joshua found all the bits of fluff and fiber, I would have some serious explaining to do, and not because our love affair is a torrid thing to be hidden, and I'm head over heels for you. There is magic in the boxes you make your way over to me, and magic in the way the shepherds pack you into plastic bags and vacuum the air right out. Magic in the way they shove you into priority containers way too small for your sheer bulk. Magic in the way you sail through the mail system to me. Magic in the way you expand and breathe and carve out space for yourself when freed from your cardboard prison. You are a veritable smorgasbord of options, combed or carded, woolen or worsted, fingering, sport, decay, sweaters, shawls, socks. And at the core of it all, you are the best example of possibility, a blank canvas that can become any and everything I will you to be, and I'm willing to put the work in to ensure it comes to fruition. You have gotten me through many a dark night when my mind wouldn't go quiet and there was not enough space in my heart for tasks that required more than the rhythmic motion of wool combs against each other or the brush and flick of carding tines as I sat and reminded myself to breathe through it. You are a meditation, a way of putting hope and prayer into a garment that would eventually warm someone I love, a tangible connection between someone who lovingly raised the animals that grew you and my empty hands desperate for something real and grounding to hold on to. You are a way to dig deep, a way to head back to simpler times, a touchstone to people that came before us and the people ahead. As the piles and baskets grow, the one on the top of the closet is getting pretty precarious, and with each scoured lock, I find myself falling a bit more into the self I want to be, and in the season of small and daily miracles, isn't it a wonder that we get to find bits of pieces of ourselves in the magic of growing things, and that the parts of us that make us whole always seem to find us right when they're needed most. So that's it. A story about fluff and fiber and touching things and making things with our hands. And honestly, you guys are crafters, so you know all about the magic of making things with our hands. I am going to... Okay, this is the most nerve-wracking part every single time. I'm actually not going to punch holes in this. I think I'm going to put it back to back with my day one story and then punch holes in it to make sure that the holes align. But that's it, you guys. That's day 2 in the book. So I hope you will join me tomorrow. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you for day 3. I imagine that my December daily is eventually going to become something more like Vlogmas than process videos if I end up chatting about my life as much as I am in this one. But I hope you guys are here for all of it. So till next time, keep it crafty and have the very best day, and I'll see you around. Bye for now.